Even though thousands and thousands of foreigners own property across Mexico, if you've been thinking about buying property here, it's completely normal if you've wondered how foreigners can do so legally and securely. Hi, I'm Sarah Rose. I'm the Chief Real Estate Advisor, founder, and Managing Director of Paradise Listings here in the beautiful Riviera Maya and Cancun. I'm originally from Canada, and just like many of you, I once wondered what the process of buying a home here would look like for me as a foreign investor. Today, I own multiple properties and I run a real estate agency that specializes in helping foreign buyers navigate this process confidently and securely. So, in today's video, I'm going to be walking you through everything you need to know about how foreign ownership works in Mexico. Before we dive into today's video, here's something important to understand. Buying real estate in Mexico isn't the same as in the US or Canada. The laws are different, the way transactions work is different. So that means it's important for you to have the right information and the right guidance at every step. If you're even considering buying here, I strongly recommend that a very first step you take is to book a complimentary consultation call with us so that we can walk you through exactly how it would work in your specific situation with your goals, whether that's lifestyle, relocation, rental income, or long-term investment. In this video, I'm going to be explaining the legal structure that makes foreign ownership possible along the coast in Mexico called the Fideicomiso. I'll explain why it exists, how it works, what it costs, and why it actually allows foreigners to own property in a very secure way. To understand the Fideicomiso, we first need a bit of historical context. Mexico's constitution includes something called the restricted zone, which covers land within 50 kilometers of the coastline and 100 kilometers of international borders. In these areas, foreigners cannot hold direct title to property in their own name. This rule goes all the way back to the early 1900s and was designed to protect national sovereignty after a series of land grabs. It wasn't designed to discourage foreign investment. Over time, Mexico recognized that international buyers bring enormous economic value, especially in coastal regions. So the Fideicomiso was created as a legal solution that balances national interests with foreign ownership rights. A Fideicomiso is a bank trust established with a Mexican bank. The bank holds the title to the property, but this is where a lot of people misunderstand how it works. This does not mean that the bank is therefore the owner of the property. You, as the foreign buyer, are the beneficiary of the trust, and as beneficiary, you hold all of the rights that you would expect as an owner. You can live in the property, you can rent it out, you can renovate it, sell it, and pass it on to your heirs. The bank cannot use your property, it cannot sell it, it cannot make decisions about it. Their role is administrative and legal, ensuring the trust complies with Mexican law. In practice, you are treated as the owner by everyone involved, including notaries, municipalities, utility companies, and buyers if you decide to sell. When you sell the property, the Fideicomiso is either transferred to the new buyer or canceled, and you receive the proceeds of the sale just as you would expect anywhere else. One of the most common fears I hear surrounding fideicomisos is what happens when the fideicomiso expires. So the trust is initially set up for 50 years. And this sometimes scares people because they imagine losing their property at the end of that period. In reality, the fideicomiso is renewable indefinitely. Renewal is a very straightforward administrative process, and there is no historical precedent of foreigners losing a property simply because a fideicomiso expired. The trust continues, and even if the original beneficiary passes away, the trust can be inherited by secondary beneficiaries that you designate. This is why proper estate planning is so important and why it's something that we always address with our clients. Another concern people often raise is whether the bank could somehow take away the property. This is not how fideicomisos work. The bank is a neutral trustee, not a creditor. They do not benefit from your property and have no incentive or legal right to seize it. Now let's talk briefly about costs, because I find that this helps my clients plan confidently and avoid surprises later on. Setting up a fideicomiso involves an initial setup fee paid to the bank, as well as an annual administration fee. The setup cost typically ranges in the low thousands of US dollars depending on the bank and the specifics of the transaction. So usually around 2,500 USD. The annual fee is usually around $500 per year. When you consider that this structure allows you to legally and securely own property in some of the most desirable coastal locations in the world, most buyers find these costs very reasonable. These fees are separate from other closing costs, which include taxes, notary fees, and all of that, which is important to plan ahead for as well. It's also important to know that not all properties require a fideicomiso. If you buy property outside of the restricted zone in Mexico, foreigners can hold direct title in their own name. Additionally, if you're purchasing through a Mexican corporation for commercial purposes, such as certain large-scale rental operations, there may be alternative structures. This is why personalized advice matters so much. What I want you to take away from this video today is that foreign ownership in Mexico is not a loophole, it's not a workaround. It's a well-established, legally recognized system that has been in place for decades and used by thousands upon thousands of foreign owners. In markets like the Riviera Maya, Cancún, Los Cabos, and Puerto Vallarta, entire communities are built around international ownership, and the legal infrastructure supporting it is robust and proven. That said, the security of your purchase doesn't come from the fideicomiso alone. It comes from proper due diligence, working with a licensed real estate advisor, a reputable notary, and a qualified legal team that understands how to verify land titles, permits, zoning, and developer track records, among other things. This is exactly why we do things the way that we do at Paradise Listings. We don't just help you find a beautiful property in this beautiful destination. We help you understand the structure behind it so that you can move forward with clarity and peace of mind. So if you're watching this and thinking about buying property here in Mexico, whether for lifestyle, investment, or a combination of both, my invitation to you is simple. Don't rely on Google or what you read about online. Get informed, ask questions, and work with professionals who've helped people like you acquire property in Mexico. At Paradise Listings, all of our agents have over a decade of experience in the Riviera Maya and have helped countless people make this part of Mexico home. So book a complimentary consultation with us and we'll help you start exploring your options today.